reconcile between what you presented and sort of a statement you said at the end by solving world hunger.
Right.
You presented this in such a relative micro presentation of counties and cities and small areas. Well, oftentimes we have this vision on world hunger and how to fix world hunger. So reconcile for me the solution between fixing these small purple dots and addressing world hunger.
I don't think it's suggested a solution even for the pink ones right now. It's just saying it is pink. Yeah.
Well, the idea here is to use, that's where we have in place. Well, that's the idea here, basically. That paints a picture, right? Because now you have a third, like you have restaurants, you have grocery stores, you have a supply, you have a demand. And so basically to map that out visually is what I did. Again, like I said, for future analysis, you will have to go down into a neighborhood census scale, because when we look at the world like this, we start to look at the world objectively. When we look at it like this, it's still dots on a map. So in order to actually go forth and deviating and actually starting that whole process, it's going to actually involve this.
Good starting point.
Yeah, so in terms of future research, like network analysis is what I really wanted to do for this research, and it was going to be my third research question. I couldn't do it because that's where I would actually have to use a nexus of drive time routes and start structuring the whole process of distribution in a timely manner, right? It needs to be, you name it, there probably needs to be an app built for it. You have temperature controlled freights that's moved from a facility to restaurants or grocery stores on a day-to-day basis, and that is taken back to a facility and there's an inventory. It's divided, repackaged, and then distributed, and that's the whole idea behind this whole research, because that's where it's leading to. But if you don't identify where these areas are, it's still a wild goose chase, right, at the end of the day. So, I mean, that's where it's coming from. It's not going to be as simple to just blink of an eye and okay, I'm going to solve world hunger and it's done. Like, it needs to be a policy in place for that to happen.
Thank you.
On your LFS scoring, if you don't mind, go back a couple of slides. Kind of where you, you talk about various thresholds in which to assign the binary values. Walk us through your decision-making process and your justification for using those thresholds.
Okay, so thank you. My justification for using these thresholds is based off of state averages for each of those values. Now, all of these values, if you look at USDA's data sets, if you download the raw data from USDA and map it out, this is what you look at. Right? It's that first map right there. Now, I tried this. Without setting threshold values, I just summed up all the values and I saw what that looked like in my final map, and it showed the entire state of Alabama as being food insecure. So there has to be a cutoff point, and the federal poverty threshold for Alabama is at 70%, so that was my rationale for setting all of those values at 70%. And that's why I did that. So I basically set it for each variable. And there was no reason why it had to change for any of the variables, because they all had to account for low food security, and every one of those variables accommodate for LFS. If you think about it logically, right? It's low access, low income, beyond grocery stores, beyond a mile. So distance has a role to play as well in this whole process. Yes.
So, Mark, I have to commend you and Dr. Mary for condensing what was a very big thing to do a study for a master's thesis. Your study is more complicated than you present, and I know you're breaking it down for lay people like us. I assume this went through a conceptualization and design part, data organization and processing part, and analysis and synthesis part. Which was the hardest part? How did you overcome that? I mean, why was it the hardest? And what did you do to overcome it?
Well, one of the hardest parts was actually compiling that spreadsheet of, the variables for the state of Alabama, because it's not data that's easily accessible. It needed to be compiled. It needed to be put together. And selecting 8 of the variables, because USDA you name it, USDA has quantified a whole bunch of data, and that if you look at it, it drove me mad to a point, and so I had to look at it and go through it really carefully to see what variables do I feel most strongly affect low food security or capable of food security. And that took a lot of my time, because I had to really go through the data and actually look at each of them individually and actually think of which variables to pick, because I had to carefully pick my variables out. And I think the only way that I overcame that was coffee and sleepless nights.
I'm thinking you were talking about the scripting, Python scripting.
Well, the Python scripting came up with the automation process of the whole thing. That wasn't. I mean, we had Dr. Singh teaching us how to do that. In this case, I had no one to tell me how to do that. It's something I had to learn on my own now. And yes, I did enjoy the LFS model. I feel like, she's a good professor. She's a really good teacher, and so that really helped, because it helped understand how to basically build a model, off-model builder. Because once you have, like you talked about, the conceptual framework in mind, once you have the whole process, you reverse engineer the whole thing and you do that on your model. And that's what building a model is like. So once I know how to get from A to Z, I basically go back to my model builder and I start going back from Z to A. So I build the whole thing.
All right, so on this topic, it's kind of a social conscious kind of thing. So if you apply this to the world scale, a lot of areas that would find this very beneficial and would utilize your research may not have access to deploy these models because it comes from a proprietary software. So talk about how some of these folks could use this stuff if they don't have the means or access to this type of software.
Well, I'm not aware of, I would imagine that if places, there are tons of places that don't have access to proprietary software, who don't have access to software to begin with. I know Abby's working on stuff in Africa and these places, and I know how hard it is for her to find data, and even quantify the data that's within a repository. So this model is built as of now. This model calculates low food security, but it's more focused on calculating LFS within the United States. Every state in the United States is what it's built towards, because this is what it is. You pick a state, like your shapefile, let's say Florida, right? Now that has to be on a census tract scale, and that shapefile needs to be embedded with the variables, and that needs to come from somewhere, which in this case is United States Department of Agriculture. So it's a chain reaction, so it needs to come from somewhere. I can't just I could throw in a bunch of numbers, create my own variables on a spreadsheet, geocode it, and then throw it onto a shapefile and classify it in Bombay back in India. If I have the shapefile available for it. But in terms of proprietary software, if they don't have the software for it, I'm pretty sure this can be automated using other sources as well, because now I have the framework in mind, and that's the most important part. What platform you use is not important, because I can use JSON or whatever it is that you use to quantify it.
Maybe coming to help, but I think some of the participatory GIS methodologies which provide alternative methods of crowdsourcing can also be used by groups where technology is not really available.
All right. Well, that's we'll end it there for general questions. Thank you once again, Mark. see that Mark has provided funds for snacks outside. At this point in time, the committee will spend a little more quality time with Mark. So thank you for coming on out.